Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA's Inside the Boardroom. My name is James Fatham and today I'm joined by Joseph van den Elsen, President and CEO of Pampa Metals. They are a copper gold explorer operating in Argentina. Joseph, it's great to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So let's kick things off with a quick summary. Can you give us the elevator pitch for Pampa?
Certainly can. Pampa is advancing the high-grade copper-gold Piuquenes porphyry project located in the San Juan province of Argentina. Prior to Pampa entering into an option and joint venture agreement for the property in November of last year, the project's been privately held since the 1970s. Piuquenes sits in the discovery phase, having previously been drilled by Inmet, an Anglo-American, and forming part of the same porphyry cluster which hosts Aldebrand's Altar project. The project is located adjacent to the Altar project and accessed via the road concession leading from the town of El Barrial to Glencore's El Pachon project. The Piuquenes project is new to public markets, and as its exploration progresses and we report assays comparable to our first hole, which were over 420 metres at 0.48 copper and 0.61 gold, including a high-grade zone of over 130 metres at 0.71 copper and 0.85 gold, I don't expect our market cap to remain at 17 million.
So let's talk a little bit more about those drill results. You've had some great grades and some great intercepts so far from Piuquenes. You're currently putting out results, and as I understand it, there are still some more assays pending. Can you give us an overview of what you've been seeing? What are the timelines for remaining results?
So we announced the Piuquenes project transaction late November 2023, and shortly after, we announced the assay results from a previously unassayed 920-metre drill hole, which had been completed in 2016. So that was a drill hole that we recovered as part of our due diligence, and those results, which were reported in early December, were of over 550 metres at 0.38 copper and 0.42 gold, with a high-grade section of 130 metres at 0.81 copper and 0.6 gold. Following on from that, we started our own drilling in January of this year, and to date have reported visual observations from 3 of our holes and assays from 2 of those holes. Our first hole was over 420 metres at 0.48 copper, 0.61 gold, from relatively shallow depths of 198 metres, and included a high-grade zone of 130 metres at 0.71 copper, 0.85 gold. Assay results from our second diamond drill hole included over 440 metres at 0.42 copper, 0.46 gold, and included a high-grade zone of over 120 metres at 0.66 copper and 0.74 gold. We're now eagerly awaiting results from our third diamond drill hole, which are due very, very soon.
So, going back to that transaction in November, what is it about the Piuquenes project that attracted you there? Can you describe some of the geology at the site? And has there been any kind of regional scale exploration to identify targets within the project?
The Piuquenes property sits within a cluster of porphyry deposits located in the southern part of the San Juan province and alongside the border with Chile. So this is a very well-known and explored part of the world. What attracted to us was that previous drilling by Inlet and Anglo had encountered high-grade mineralisation, relatively shallow, and the property benefited from good access via Glencore infrastructure. The property also came with a significant body of historical work, which in addition to the drilling included property-wide IP, Halimag geophysics, and quite extensive surface sampling. So for us, we thought it was a quite unique property, primarily because of those factors, but also on account of having never been owned by a public company privately and having been previously privately held by a family office dating back to the 1970s.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique acquisition and not one that you see an asset like that being held privately for so long. But looking a little bit ahead in terms of this year's plans, you closed a $2 million financing last month, I believe. Can you tell us how that money is going to be put to use? Are there more exploration plans for this drill season?
So We completed this acquisition late last year, started drilling early this year, and to date we've done 3 relatively deep diamond drill holes of about 850 metres. As you mentioned, 2 million Canadian was raised in April, and the idea is there that that's going to fund us to keep going. And we've drilled to date the Piuquenes Central target, which is the porphyry target that was previously identified and drilled on the property. Now we're turning our attention to the other targets on the property, which include Piuquenes East, a porphyry target to date undrilled, which outcrops at surface and which we've disclosed to the market is our next follow-up target. So the idea now is that our attention's turned to further expanding our knowledge of Piuquenes Central, drill testing Piuquenes East, and concurrently looking at complementary surface work and geophysics to try and identify further porphyry targets on this property. Our view is that there's a cluster or a trend of porphyry deposits on our property, and our intention is to aggressively drill test those over the coming years.
Great. Well, sounds like there's a lot of plans in the work for this year and beyond. I wanted to ask you, beyond the upcoming kind of exploration program, are there any other milestones? What other news should people be looking out for this year for Pampa?
It's in the short time since we've acquired the property, we've been very quick and aggressive to get on ground and start some drilling. Our attention now is turning to investor awareness and making sure we're communicating our story and our value proposition to the market. I think we're significantly undervalued at 17 million, and I think through a combination of good results, good marketing, and a good story, I expect our share price will re-rate significantly. In addition to that, we are looking at business development as all juniors should do. And our intention there would be to try and find other opportunities comparable to Piuquenes, namely high-grade, good locations, and properties that we can get on the ground and work swiftly in order to try and, I guess, build ourselves into a news flow, active drilling junior company.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that overview. Just to wrap up, is there anything maybe we haven't talked about? Anything investors should be keeping in mind when they're looking at Pampa? What makes you unique? What sets you apart from the other exploration stories out there?
Good question. The first thing to say is I think we're operating in a very hot and attractive jurisdiction at the moment. San Juan is benefiting from a lot of investment from major companies looking for good quality, high-grade porphyry deposits, and we think we're in the right place at the right time. San Juan's been a fantastic jurisdiction to operate in, and that's evident in the fact that we were able to get on the ground and start drilling 6 weeks following project acquisition. It's also got fantastic infrastructure. So I think we've got quite a unique property. And in addition to that, it should be said that as a board and as a management team, the fact we're able to identify projects like this and execute work programs quickly sets us apart and shows that we are capable of doing good deals and executing swiftly.
Well, Joseph, looking forward to more updates from Pampa throughout the year. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks again for having me.